Hey friends, how are you? Hope you're well. I'm here today to do what might become a bit of a series. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it and see if people like it or not. So I'm trying to do maybe a spotlight on authors that maybe are not so well mentioned on BookTube. Um, which I think is nice. It's good to give authors, more prominence, as it were, or more shout outs. So my author for the month of February is Joanne Demaio, and these are all her winter series books. Now, she has a seaside series as well. I have read the first one. I didn't particularly get on with it that well. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because I really like the way Joanne Demaio writes, especially the winter ones, but there was just something, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go on with that series, but let me tell you about her winter series. So these, yes, some of them are Christmassy, and you can, I did tend to read them at Christmas time. I'm unsure as to whether there could be any more in the winter series. I hope so, because they're just so nice. So all the winter series are set in Addison, in the town of Addison, and oh, I just really love them. So the first one you have is Snowflakes and Coffee Cakes. Now, in this one we meet Vera. Now, Vera has just come back to Addison, New England, for her sister's wedding. Okay, and she had a lovely time. And as she's driving out of Addison, she sees this house, and she basically falls in love with it and decides to buy it. So it's an old colonial, and she decides she's going to do it up. So we get kind of the story of her doing it up, but also with the colonial comes this barn, and she was going to rent the barn out, so she needed to clear it. And then she discovers all these beautiful Christmas decorations. That the people who owned the house originally, they used to have like a Christmas decoration shop in the barn. So she decides to do that again, and some of the descriptions of the decorations is just stunning. The descriptions of how the house is set up and the barn is set up is just beautiful. Into this we meet Derek. Now Derek runs the annual Deck the Boat festival at the Cove. And the reason he does this is because unfortunately one year coming home from school, his daughter and her friends thought the bay was frozen, and unfortunately they all went onto the ice. The ice cracked, and unfortunately she fell through and they couldn't rescue her. So he does this every year to show his daughter that there is still light in the world, etc. And it really is touching. It's beautiful. So there is, a trigger warning for anyone. There is grief and child passing away in this, but there is also so much hope and love for Derek, for his daughter, who's passed on. The whole town just wants to help everybody. It is just so nice. I would love to go to Addison. I really would. It sounds so beautiful. So that's the first one. The second one is Snow Deer and Cocoa Cheer. Now we meet Jane, and Jane is an illustrator for greetings cards. What a fabulous job, But she has kind of lost her mojo a wee bit, and comes back home to just have a wee break and see if she can just get some inspiration again. And her mother was an artist, and she discovers some of her mum's artwork in a cupboard. And it kind of inspires her, but then her mum gives her a list of things to do, a bucket list, as it were, of things to try and get her, like, creative juices flowing. And, you know, just the things you have to do, you learn all about that. And also she ends up breaking her wrist, and she also meets Wes, who is the local postman. Now, Wes is wanting to save money to get out of Addison. He wants to go elsewhere. And he runs the postal beat with his father as well. And Wes ends up helping Jane with some of the activities that she's to do. And she's kind of, there is a romance, and, you know, do they get together? Does Wes leave? It's, you know, does she get her creativity back? And if so, how does she do it? And I'm not joking, it was just so good to read. I really liked the description of the cards, and, you know, the paintings that she was doing and how they were being done. They sound delightful. So that was the second one. The third one is Cardinal Cabin. Oh, I want to go stay there, guys. I so want to go and stay there. So we meet Frank, who is not the most spontaneous man in the world, and he helps look after the cabins on the lake. And he loves his job. He loves doing, you know, looking after them and making sure that they're all okay. So Penny Hart arrives, and she's been put into Cardinal Cabin in Snowflake Lake, but it's only for a brief period. And basically what it is she works at the local travel agent. And to drum up business, what they're doing is they are posting a competition of Penny's going to take pictures from her travels, and whoever guesses where she is will get a holiday, or a reduction in the holiday. I can't quite remember because it's been a while since I've read it. I adored this. It was just learning about the cabins, seeing the very slow burn romance between Penny and Frank was really, really nice. Cardinal Cabin and all the other cabins just sounded so enchanting. They're all the cabins are named after various birds, and I could just see myself cozying up there, reading a good book in front of the fire. Oh, it was just so delightful. So yes, it was just so nice. As it says, Cardinal Cabin is an enchanting tale about finding love where you least expect it. So come on side, a cosy fire crackles, lights twinkle on the evergreen tree, snowflakes tap on window panes, and the little red birds bring cheer this time of year. I mean, come on guys, who wouldn't want to be there and just do that? Then we have First Flurries. So we meet Lindsay. And Lindsay has she has a clothing shop, but what she does is she runs it from like a little van. Okay, like it's not, would you call it a tiny home? You probably could call it a tiny home. And she comes to Addison, but unfortunately on the first day, she bumps into the local doctor Greg Davis's car, okay, and there's a bit of damage, but you know, hey ho. So they end up spending time together, and she sells, there's a market on the green, and she sells her clothes from her home there. But she also parks her van up at Snowflake Lake because that's run by a family member. And it is really nice. It's like nice to sort of have something different. You learn about her tiny home, you learn about her clothes, you learn about her family, because her dad gave her a snow globe once with a note, unsure where to go, give a little shake and your heart will always know. So when she's tended to me, she'll shake the globe, and something will come to her as to where she wants to go. I really liked this one. It was, it is a very slow. All these romances are very slow burn. They're sweet romances. And I just really liked this one because it was slightly different. It's somebody coming to Addison rather than people kind of who have already been there, or who have a major connection with it. So yeah, this one was, I really, really enjoyed it. As it's been a while since I've read these, so my remembrance of them is not that great. I apologise. Next one is 18 Winters. In this one we meet Harry, and he is, he works at the general store along with his father, and has done since he came back from college. And every Christmas since he was a child, or shall we say middle school, I think, they've been getting this Christmas card from this girl, or this woman, and it's for the people that lived in their house previously. But his mother has never got round to writing to her and saying, look, I'm really sorry, but this person has moved away. So this Christmas, the card arrives again, and there's this card from Sadie, and he means to write back to her, but then Sadie arrives in Addison, and he has to tell her that the person that was in the house has moved, etc. And then, so between them, they start to try and find out where the lady that Sadie sends the cards to has gone. And yes, there's a romance, and it's also sort of Harry realizing that maybe being in Addison is not a bad thing. Maybe running the hardware store is a good thing. I have to say it's probably my least favourite of them. I don't know. I just thought would you really not reply? Every year you get a Christmas card, would you really not reply? So that is, I say, my least favourite. And then the one I read at Christmas there, Winter House. So we have Millie Ives comes to Addison, and she is going to be working for the jigsaw puzzle company, and her job is to go out and take pictures that will be made into jigsaws. And she brings with her this beautiful lamp that her father has made for her, but it gets damaged in the move, so she ends up having to go to Mr. Winter's lamp shop. And she's been told he's gruff, he's like not very communicative, etc. So she's expecting an older gruff gentleman. She ends up finding a younger man, and she also happens to be staying in the cabins on Snowflake Lake. She's staying in one of those cabins. She's renting it out, or she's bought it, I think. I think she's bought it. So, for various reasons, Mr. Winter isn't decorating Winter House for the season, and people are disappointed about this because it's been a very focal home within the Christmas decorating, town of Addison, and people are sad that it's not happening. But maybe with Millie's help, Mr. Winter will start to relive the joy of Christmas and how exciting and magical Christmas can be if, what am I trying to say? If you can kind of embrace it all and just love the magic and the feeling of decorating the house, and just how much joy it brings to other people. What I really like is the garland along the fence. The Winters put ornaments into a basket with marker pens, and people write messages on them and hang them on their on the garland. It's for people who have who are no longer with them, whether that be friends that moved away, people who have passed on. And I thought that was just such a beautiful, beautiful idea. I really did enjoy this one. So yeah, so those are the, as I say, those are the winter ones that Joanne Demaio has written. And as I say, all of them, apart from, you know, the 18 Winters, it was nice, but it didn't grab me as much as the other ones. You know, I've thoroughly enjoyed reading them. I really love the way Joanne Demaio writes. Her descriptive work is so beautiful. So yeah, so I would recommend these, definitely. And I would say try her seaside one out as well. I think the first one is it Coffee Beans and, hold on, I shall soon tell you because there's a list in here. The first one is Blue Jeans and Coffee Beans, in her Seaside Saga. She has also written Beach Cottage series that I have not read yet. I read one of her standalones, which was True Blend, which again is set in Addison, and it's summertime. And then there's also Whole Latte Life, which I really want to get to as well. True Blend was interesting. It was to do with a gentleman who unwittingly helps take part in a robbery, a bank robbery, and I found it very strange in that I didn't find it strange in that he's helping his brother because his brother's, you know, he doesn't want his brother to be caught. Basically, he's supposed to be the driver of the getaway car, and they end up, this lady kind of witnesses what happens, and they end up kind of kidnapping her child, and he looks after the child, and the child is returned, and he strikes up a friendship with the mother, and I just found that very bizarre. You know, it was like, yeah, okay. So I just found that strange that, you know, when the mother finds out, it was, yeah. But I do definitely want to read Whole Latte Life because that's about the coffee shop in Addison, so I want to read that. And I would like to read her Beach Cottage ones as well. Will I try the Seaside one, the Seaside Sagas again? I'm not sure. Possibly. But what I will do is down below in the comments is or in the description bar, I will leave a link to Joanne Demaio's website, where you can find out more about her books, etc. But please let me know down below, have you read any Joanne Demaio? If so, which books, and what were your thoughts on them? I would really like to know. Have I kind of whetted your appetite for going and checking this author out? I really hope so. Because, you know, I love these books very much. I just really enjoy Winter in Addison. I think they're great. So until my next video, friends, stay safe, happy reading. Bye.